and welcome to the official podcast of Jonesboro Wrestling. My name is Robert Red. I'm going to be joined, as always, by my co-host, D. Chris May.
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Good house show last night that I got to go to. I was excited.
Yeah, and crazy thing is, I was wearing that new powder and that new cologne called Tessa free with the $50 purse. Let's roll.
But normally the first segment we do a review of Raw, Impact, and SmackDown.
Not today.
But we're going to kind of change it up today, and we're going to talk about Lockdown that happened last night. Now, I know I missed a good portion of Lockdown, so I'm going to talk about as much as I know. Kind of, what were your thoughts of Lockdown and what you saw?
Wow. The shifting of the guard, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's very interesting to talk about. So, I mean, you want to talk about Lethal Lockdown? That was the main event between Team Dixie and MVP, because, I mean, that was built as a pivotal match in terms of TNA as to who would have control of wrestling operations.
It was a complete shock when Bully Ray hit the ring, and a lot of people would assume that, oh, Dixie got it in the bag. But if you're a TNA theist like me, yes, I said it, TNA theist. Well, you ought to go back and take a look at the rivalry between Rude and Bully Ray and Austin Aries and Bully Ray. They don't get along, and I guess it makes a little bit more sense for Bully Ray to double cross, because I even hinted the double cross after Austin Aries. If you go back and watch the pay-per-view replay, Austin Aries hit a brainbuster on David Richards on an open steel chair, and Bully Ray, like from behind, was about to take down Aries, but when Aries went for the cover, Bully Ray was like, oh, hold on. But I think that's B-Rude's fault. B-Rude want the money. He wanted that rich. But in the end, MVP wins it, and that's that. But I was glad to see Muta and another former MMA star comes back to wrestling, that being Bobby Lashley.
Yes, he did mention Bobby Lashley, and that's something else I want to talk about. I mean Ethan Carter was
yeah, it was another leg injury from Angle, but that was I mean, you got to say, that was EC3's fault.
But another thing I wanted to mention, Team MVP went in Lethal Lockdown. Well, as you know, I know from this past Thursday, before Lockdown, Jeff Hardy.
Well, out goes Jeff Hardy, in comes his Willow, so to speak. And I guess this Willow character, for a lot of people in the independents, you may have seen this Willow character when Jeff Hardy was a teenager, starting into the wrestling business. But I mean, so far, it looks similar to Jeff Hardy. And what really gave it away, sorry to cut you off, but what really gave it away was, if you pay attention to Jeff Hardy's tattoos, Jeff Hardy has tattoos on the side of his body, and Willow did the same thing. So
Jeff Hardy just playing the character Willow. I mean, it was made apparent in the vignettes that they've been showing or airing on TNA TV that Jeff Hardy's playing a new character.
But what about the monster Abyss?
Yes.
That was insane.
Yeah, and kind of was insane that was Joe and Magnus inside a steel cage with Joe's rules meaning knockout or tap out, and Magnus retained the title with Abyss coming up through the ring. So, I mean, kind of what's your thoughts on that alliance?
It was crazy, and this was a match especially for Joe to win. Just like James Storm's last man standing match with Gunner was technically made for Storm to win. Didn't happen with Storm, didn't happen with Joe. Magnus retained the title. But the question is, where did the payoff?
Yeah, and I mean, Abyss is aligned himself with Magnus. I mean, what is this going to mean in the upcoming weeks? And also, how long is Magnus going to be able to?
Or is Abyss doing it so he could get closer to Magnus's world title?
We're going to go to our second segment after this quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with you. Are you looking to grow your business? If you are, well, then you're in luck. We here at Jonesboro Wrestling are looking for sponsors for our weekly podcast, The Power of Pro Wrestling. If you are interested in sponsoring this, you can tweet me at Robert Red Jr., or you can contact me via email at jonesborowrestling@gmail.com. Once again, you can contact me at jonesborowrestling@gmail.com. And we're back with the Power Pro Wrestling Podcast. As always, I'm still here, Robert Red, and I'm still here with D. Chris Smith.
The Red Man, D-Man, in the house. Let's get it going.
Yes. Now, this is our discussion question part, and I've got 3 questions here, and this should be very interesting. We're kind of on WrestleMania season, and some of these, with it being Monday, something I want to kind of discuss was Jeff Jarrett had been kind of putting on the internet through social media about it's coming and stuff like that, and a lot of rumors here lately have been about a new wrestling promotion. So kind of my question to you, D, was, will a new wrestling promotion be successful here in the United States, especially since you got TNA, Ring of Honor, and WWE? Do you feel it would be successful?
Depend on how different your product is, the content of your product, and major sponsors, and also your ability. I mean, because granted, wrestling has the ability to reach a ton of fans, kids all the way up to old people, in the words of Bobby Heenan. I'm leaning towards a yes, but I'm not sure if it's a long-term yes. It's almost like, I have to see it.
Yeah,
and that's I mean, that's just me. What do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, it really depends on the scale of the promotion and stuff like this. Yes, I mean, if it does try to compete with WWE and TNA, it's going to be very difficult. But with a lot of indie promotions around, if it's in the right place and the right time and from the right people, which is always a key factor in any terms of business, then I feel it could be successful. Now, if he's going to try to compete with WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor, it might be a little more difficult.
And also, Will, do you have the right business? Do you have the right business mind? Are you really doing it for the right reason? Doing it for revenge on a company that stabbed you back, or two companies stabbed you back, or are you doing it because you really want something?
Yeah, and I mean, definitely Jeff Jarrett, I feel, does have the wrestling background. I mean, you got to realize his dad, Jerry, he was a promoter.
Grew up around that.
I mean, he has the business in his blood, so I mean, he definitely can be successful in the right business. It just depends on what scale that he tries to heat on. So, I mean, if he keeps it very small scale, then I think he can be successful as a new promotion.
Ooh, let's keep it rolling, man, because I enjoyed your answers. Let's keep it rolling.
I'd like to just want your matchups.
One of them I have Road Warriors versus Dudley Boys.
Okay, so you would have loved to have seen the Road Warriors and the Dudley Boys kind of do battle?
I wanted to see the clash.
Okay, kind of what's your reasoning for kind of that match happening? Just for who's the better tag team? Or
the most accomplished being the Dudley Boys or Team 3D versus the most dominant being the Road Warriors. And here's the thing. Road Warriors have won the 3 major championships from the 80s into the 90s, whereas the Dudleys have won all the championships with the exception of the AWA titles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that would be one of my dream WrestleManias.
Yeah. I really think I have a whole lot. Something I want to see that I think would make a good WrestleMania match, and it's been heavily rumored that hopefully WrestleMania 31 is going to finally feature this match. The Undertaker and Sting. Now, it doesn't necessarily have the appeal like it did. If this match happened or so when they were both really still in their prime to where they could really go, this would be a great WrestleMania match. And really the reason why I think this would be a great dream WrestleMania match is to have Undertaker, kind of almost the face of WWE. He's been with them for a lot of years.
Technically the face of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm talking Undertaker.
Yeah, and with the undefeated streak, and then you have Sting, which was the WCW's top guy. So the clash to see who really truly is better.
Almost a master of the mind game.
Yeah, I mean, it's who better. And I mean, you have similar characters where you had Sting in 97, he did the Crow, a very dark character, and you have Undertaker, the Dead Man, stuff like that. The characters are so similar, you just want to see the two clash and see who's top dog, who truly is better. Is it Taker? It's Sting. Who's better? Now, also another probably dream WrestleMania match I'd like to see, and this I know this would not happen, but just from how similar they are in their character and stuff, and I know this guy really would love to have this happen. What's your thoughts on a CM Punk Stone Cold dream WrestleMania match?
That would be interesting.
I mean, it'd be really interesting. Someone who bucks authority, kind of sticks it to the man, and especially with what Punk is, he's kind of walked out on the WWE right now, kind of similar to what Stone Cold did. He has the kind of same buck the authority system attitude that Stone Cold had back in the Attitude Era. So I mean, a matchup between those two, I think, would be rather interesting.
I could see that happening. Even though I already got one of my WrestleMania matches come true this year at WrestleMania 30, or that being Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, because you got a matchup of two power guys plus a matchup of two guys who are the master of the ground and pound. And to me, and how can you get any better than Hell's Gate, known as the Go-Go Plata for you mixed martial artists out there, versus Brock Lesnar's MMA submission ground game too. So I think to me that's one of the WrestleMania matches I've wanted to see for a long time, and I'm glad it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's just.
And I'm glad WWE's finally decided to capitalize on it with Undertaker being at an MMA show when Brock Lesnar was still with the UFC. So I'm glad they're finally capitalizing on it. Now I want to kind of wrap this up since we are talking about WrestleMania and we always talk about rumored matches. Well, you also get rumored names in the Hall of Fame, and really, this year's class is amazing. You have Undertaker, Jake the Snake, Lita, Paul Bearer was just announced. Who do you feel is being slotted from the WWE Hall of Fame? Who really belongs? Who's not already in there, and why do they belong? And I kind of let you answer first on this.
I got Owen Hart.
Owen Hart, yeah. I mean, I'm in total agreement with that. So kind of why Owen Hart?
Most accomplished, with all due respect, most accomplishments he picked up on where Bret Hart left when he went to WCW. Owen Hart accomplished a whole lot in his career and was a world traveler like Bret Hart was and like the British Bulldog was. I got Owen Hart for this simple reason. He's done a lot and really helped push the Attitude Era. He was one of the actual architects of the Attitude Era. Not only aligning himself with Jeff Jarrett, those two becoming tag team champions, but helped elevating The Rock in the Nation of Domination. So I got Owen Hart regardless because he's well respected in the wrestling industry. Not just in the ring, but outside of it. So he's one of my picks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with that pick. Now, I'm going to be Captain Obvious here and state the obvious here, but oh yeah, can you dig it? Macho Man Randy Savage, I think, think he is well past deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. Hulk Hogan's in, Ultimate Warrior's getting in, Macho Man deserves to get in as well. And it's sad that everything that's happened that prevented him from being in the Hall of Fame. And not only Macho Man, but Miss Elizabeth, great valet. And she's one of the few valets who was not physical, who didn't really get involved, didn't turn into a wrestler or anything like that. So, I mean, she's even well deserving. Do you have any more that you think should go in the Hall of Fame? Because, I mean, with Paul Bearer, Undertaker, I mean, I think that goes without saying. You have an undefeated streak. He's well deserving of getting in there.
Probably win or if the undefeated streak stays intact and he retires with the undefeated streak, yes, he'll go in. Depending on when that would happen. If he loses, he'll still go in anyway because of his accomplishments and because of him revolutionizing. Because he's the one guy that has evolved with the times. Not many companies and not many wrestlers can say, but Undertaker has evolved through the time. He's evolved with the time. So, granted, I got Undertaker in, but I also have the British Bulldogs because they really helped revolutionize tag wrestling, and Bulldogs, they really helped define tag team wrestling in the 80s as far as WWE is considered, because WWE was strongly pushing the tag team division in the 80s. So I most definitely have Bulldogs, both of them, both Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid inside.
Okay. And that's really all the time we have for this segment, but catch us for our next segment after we come with this commercial break. You're going to love it. It's a new one. We used to do the Indie Spotlight. I think you guys will like this as well. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back after this. Are you looking to grow your business? If you are, well, then you're in luck. We here at Jonesboro Wrestling are looking for sponsors for our weekly podcast, The Power of Pro Wrestling. If you are interested in sponsoring this, you can tweet me at Robert Red Jr., or you can contact me via email at jonesborowrestling@gmail.com. Once again, you can contact me at jonesborowrestling@gmail.com.
And welcome back to the official podcast of Jonesboro Wrestling. Yes, this is the Power of Pro Wrestling podcast alongside Robert Red. Now say R2J. I am D. Chris Smith, and yes, we have a new segment called Rapid Fire. And this is our very first segment here, Rapid Fire.
Rapid Fire!
Rapid Fire! In this one, we're talking world champions in 2014. We're starting with WWE's first. This is a quick yes or no on this one, and a quick short why this person should be or not be champion in 2014. WWE, let's start it. Big E, will he be a champion this year?
Well, he's got the Intercontinental Champion right now, Al, and they're really not doing anything with him. They're not really pushing him or anything. And I'm very doubtful that he would be world champion in 2014. Not that he doesn't have the potential to be, but not maybe this year.
Yeah, maybe something strikes crazy, or somebody backs out of that title picture. I could really see him stepping in. Dolph Ziggler.
Another doubtful guy. I mean, he's most definitely deserving of being world champion sometime this year, but with Batista being there, Bryan being as hot as he is, Cena, Orton, it's going to be hard for him to really break through to get back to that spot he well deserves. So that's another guy I'm doubtful of being world champion this year.
Just in case, if he does win Money in the Bank, I'm talking Dolph, I got him being champion somewhere close to TLC time. Cesaro.
Well, I mean, this is a guy I definitely could see being world champion in 2014, and just for the simple fact of this reason, the name change from Antonio Cesaro to just go by Cesaro, that came through a directive from Vince McMahon, and if Vince McMahon is saying something, that means he's getting ready for big things. So, I mean, I could definitely see Cesaro breaking to that top spot here in 2014.
I got Cesaro sometime in the Money in the Bank season. I got Cesaro finally doing it. Sheamus,
I mean, that's another guy I'm kind of on the fence of. He definitely has potential. He just returned at the Rumble. He's kind of has a feud with Christian right now. So, I mean, it's possible that he could, but that's another guy that I'm doubtful will be 2014 and winning the title.
Still doubtful for me, even for Sheamus. How about John Cena? I got him as a yes sometime this year.
I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, you're the face of the company, and I mentioned earlier segment I was at the Raw or the WWE house show that they had last night. Cena got the best reaction, and that's sad for me to say. But, I mean, I definitely can see him being WWE World Heavyweight Champion and sometime this year.
Any member of the Wyatt family, including Bray?
Well, I mean, Bray, I mean, I see him being a top star, not necessarily champion. And the reason I say that, his theme is supposed to be performed live at WrestleMania. Now, if you get something like that, Vince McMahon is thinking about doing something big with you. So, I mean, I see him as a main event star, not necessarily champion.
I will have to say for Bray Wyatt, if the strings are worked properly, I will have to say sometime at the end of the year. Ooh, any member of the Shield.
Ooh, member of the Shield. I mean, and with the push Reigns has been getting and stuff like that, very possible at the end of the year, maybe early next year. Ambrose Rollins, I'm really on the fence if they would. If anyone's going to be champion, it would definitely be Reigns. That's who they're pushing towards. I mean, if someone is from the Shield, it would be Reigns.
Either SummerSlam or TLC, I got Reigns. And how about Daniel Bryan? I got yes on this one.
I mean, that goes without saying. I feel he should win at WrestleMania. So, I mean, if not WrestleMania sometime this year, without a doubt, Daniel Bryan's going to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
And since we already knocked out WWE, let's go to TNA. How about this one? Talking World Champions, World Heavyweight Champions in 2014. Samoa Joe, I got yes. Slammiversary.
Most definitely yes. I mean, he was screwed out of the title last night at Lockdown. So, I mean, at Slammiversary, that would probably be a good time for him to win the world title. So, I mean, I definitely can see. If not, if Slammiversary sometime this year, yes.
MVP, I got a possible yes close to the end of the year. What do you have?
I mean, I definitely see MVP could possibly be winning the world title. He won control of TNA. It just depends on the way they want to go. But I definitely could see sometime this year him being world champion.
How about any member of the Wolves?
Well, with them just starting as a tag team, I don't know if this year necessarily either one. But, I mean, then again, you can refute the fact that they won the tag title so quickly.
I got Davey over Eddie in this case. Bobby Roode.
Okay, Bobby Roode. Definitely with now pushing Bobby Roode, I can definitely see him winning the world title by the end of the year. I definitely can say yes on him.
How about one of these four choices? Chris Sabin, Bully Ray, Gunner, or Abyss?
Of those four, I want to say Gunner. I think Gunner has the best chance. He got the Feast or Fire briefcase for the world title. He kind of got screwed over by James Storm. He's kind of almost like the Daniel Bryan. Well, I don't want to say the Daniel Bryan, but I mean he's in that spot to be the next guy in line to be the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So I definitely would say Gunner of those four.
I got Gunner, even though it'll be a tie between Gunner and Abyss, I most definitely have Gunner in this case because I think Abyss may be trying to swing his way towards that world championship because he's done it before in 2006 with James Mitchell. He may do it again. Well, folks, that concludes this awesome episode of The Power of Pro Wrestling. And yes, if you are a sponsor, come on, sponsor us. Give them the info if you want to become a sponsor.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to sponsor us, you can connect with us on social media. We have a Facebook page for The Power of Pro Wrestling. You can tweet me since I do have a Twitter account. I don't know, I'll include that on our Facebook page. You can always, right now we have a site open, JonesBoroWrestling.com, that we're posting the podcast. You can definitely go to our contact page and you can contact us through there if you're interested in being a sponsor as well. So that is some of the ways you can contact us to be a sponsor. And definitely we are looking for sponsors, so please sponsor our show.
Yeah, please come on and help us out. And thank you at home for listening. I'm D. Chris Smith.
Definitely, I'm Robert Red, and
we are out of here. See you next time.
Yes, thank you guys for listening for The Power of Pro Wrestling.